Hi, my name is Dylan Zeller, and today I'm going to talk about pigeonhole sort for our CS520 class. So what are the steps for pigeonhole sort? First, you're going to find the minimum and maximum values of the elements that you're given. This means that if you're given elements that range from 1 to 5, your minimum will be 1 and your maximum will be 5. You'll label them minimum and maximum respectively. Next, you find the range of the values. This is easily done by finding the maximum minus the minimum plus 1. Next, you can set up an array with as many buckets as there are unique values, or your range. So this means you're going to set up an array of arrays, and the nested arrays are going to hold each of the values for that index. Next, you'll iterate through the values and place them in the corresponding buckets. And after that, you iterate through the buckets and place the values that are in the buckets back in the list. So next, let's do an example. So we're going to look at the families with the number of children they have. You can see our unsorted input over here, where Richardson have 2 children, White have 3, James with 1, Brown with 4, Davis with 5, Johnson with 1, Martin with 1, Mitchell with 3, Donovan with 5, and Jackson with 4. So the first thing we have to do is find our minimum and maximum. So our minimum is obviously 1, and our maximum is obviously 5. To find the range, we would do 5 minus 1, which is 4, plus 1 to give us a range of 5. So that means we'll set up 5 different buckets, each one labeled with the index. So this will be used for families with 1 child, 2 child, 3, 4, and 5. So as we go through the list, we can see Richardson is 2, so they're placed in the 2 bucket. Next one is White, who have 3 children. We'll place them in 3. James with 1, Brown with 4, Davis with 5, Johnson with 1, and so on. So now we have the sorted buckets, and then we can translate that by iterating through each of the buckets into our sorted output array. Here you can see we sorted the output, and to step through it, do James, then Johnson, Martin, Richardson, White, Mitchell, Brown, Jackson, Davis, and then Donovan. So now we can look at the pseudocode. So this is the function pigeonhole sort on A, which is an array of objects that can be compared, usually with an integer. So we find the minimum, maximum, and range. They can be done, find obviously the minimum, the maximum, and the max minus the min plus 1. Then holes is going to be our buckets array. So each object is a bucket, and we're going to do range number of buckets. So for x in A, so x is going to be each object or integer or whatever we're sorting. Then we can increment the number of items in that hole. Here we do it with holes x minus min, because that will give us a number that is relative to 0 to put in that bucket. So now the last loop for the count in range. So this is from 0 to the maximum, while the holes count is greater than 0. So this means that while the number of this element that was in count bucket is greater than 0, we're going to add it to the list. So this is going to decrement how many are in that bucket, and then this is going to take one out of the bucket and add it to our final list. And then we're going to increase the element in our list. So A is our final list. So that's it. By the time it's done, A will have all of the numbers or objects sorted in order. So the big O runtime algorithm for this is O of n plus n, where little n is the number of elements in the input list, and big N is the range of the elements. So here are my resources. Thanks for watching.